You are listening to Single Woman and Motherhood on Apex Radio.
What's good, y'all? And now tuned in to Apex Radio.
Hey, what's up? You're listening to Apex Radio.
And I am feeling all right. And I hope everyone is feeling just right. It's a beautiful day, and we're here today. Thank you and welcome to the S.W.I.M radio show. I'm Ann-Marie Ricketts, the executive director, the founder, a mother, a friend, and whoever you need me to be today. I am so happy and grateful to be here, because there's so many wonderful things that's happening in our world today, but then there's so many sad things. So we have to get up and just be grateful for the day, no matter what it brings. So I'm just excited to introduce my co-host today, Pearlette. I'll let her introduce herself to you because we got some exciting news, and want to bring the congrats and a shout out to her. And introduce yourself.
Oh, hi there, listeners. My name is Pearlette Cassells, and I am an author and a mother as well. And I'm just excited to be here with you all today.
Yeah. Now, there's so many things we're going to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
But I am not going to put it to the end. I want to bring it to the forefront. You have done something I've been waiting and wanting to do for the longest time. And just to see that you've been working so hard and to see the outcome, it's just like an inspiration. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, thank you. You have to just do it.
You got to say when, right? So, we're going to jump into your book, and then we're going to just talk a little bit about your book. Tell me what the name of your book is.
So the name of my book, the title of my book is So What Does That Mean, Doctor? Key Questions to Ask and How to Prepare for Your Medical Checkup. So
wow.
I wrote this book so it would help me get more organized and prepared when I go for my medical appointments, because, last year I had a health scare, and so I had to keep monitoring my blood pressure. And I just found that I had all these slips of paper with the readings, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is overwhelming. So I started keeping a book and just recording them. And from that, it morphed into this one. So what does that mean, doctor? Because when I got my blood work and I had my follow-up appointment with my doctor, I took the printout and I said, what does that mean? And I went line by line. So that's how I got the title.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So we are going to leave some of the questions that I have for you. And it's just beautiful to see your name on the book. Oh,
lots of hard work.
Very impressed.
Thank you.
Yes, and
it's a tool to help people.
And we're going to get into that because there's something else you have that you can share with us, and we're just going to talk a little bit first about some parenting tips.
Yes, okay.
And I need you to help me out a little bit with some of these parenting tips, because you never ever know enough. As a parent, as a mom, you never, ever know enough. You think you do because we're in oblivious, right? We think we've got this down packed, but you know what? It's always good for refreshers, right?
Yeah, and everybody's style is different. And depending on your culture, too, I find culture is everything.
It is so true.
Yeah.
It is so true. So we're talking about discipline, discipline. There's the three discipline that is so important. First, it's the firm. Consequences should be clearly stated, and then check into when the inappropriate behavior occur. Like when you have a child that's going through challenges, remember, we're going to be using positive words. We're not going to use words like bad behavior, because really, when you really look at it, there's no bad behaviors. It's just interesting journey that we all go through from childhood to teenager to adult. So how do we put a twist and keep it as a positive outlet, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when a child is going through their challenges and their journey, right, and we have consequences, we have to be very clear on what we are asking of the child or the teenager, so there's no misunderstanding, right? So a lot of parents, they put down rules and regulation, but some of them it's hard to follow up, right?
Or they don't reinforce it. I remember when I was growing up, and I'm drawing on my experience of growing up because I had a child who passed away. So I have to draw on that experience of growing up, being raised by my parents. And I remember my dad always say, whenever we do something, he says, this is the action, but there are consequences. So you always learn from very early that there are consequences.
So basically, not just giving them the discipline, you need to explain to them why
and what they did wrong. Because sometimes, they're
you don't even know.
I didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Because in your mind, it's nothing.
It's
You're
nothing.
just moving along, right?
Yeah. And kids have boundless energy. So sometimes they do something they don't even realize
And
that.
they think it's fun.
Exactly.
They think it's fun. They don't think nothing of it. But at the same time, it can cause,
Yes.
it can cause hurt to someone else.
Absolutely.
The words or the behavior could be, taken in a wrong, or a negative way, right?
Yes. And if you don't deal with it early, then it becomes a problem later when you try to discipline them, because they're thinking, how come you didn't say anything over here when it was done? And why are you all upset now?
Exactly. Exactly. You got to nip it in the butt.
Yes.
You got to nip it in the butt. And it's true. If you keep ignoring it, it becomes a learned behavior.
Yes.
And then it is very hard to undo.
Yes.
So that is so true. So when we talk about fear, right? The punishment should fit the crime. Ooh, that is a heavy word, but hey, let's go with the flow. The punishment should fit the crime, right?
Yes.
In case of reoccurring behavior, subsequent should be stated in advance so that the child knows what to expect, right? So you can talk to the child and say, you keep doing this. And if you keep doing this, this is what's going to happen. Right? So I know when we were younger and my kids were going through, you notice I said we, because we were younger, and my kids were going through their challenges and their journey. And I remember sometime as a mom and you're so overwhelmed and they do a simple thing like maybe my son jumping out of the window off the roof.
Oh my goodness.
So things that you're like, oh my gosh. And then that's it. You're grounded for the rest of the year.
Oh, geez.
Right?
No.
How could you ground someone for the rest of the year? That's not going to fit, right?
Will never happen.
So we have to be able to find, the
balance.
punishment that will fit and it would sit with them, not only fit but sit with them, so they will always remember that
and understand it too. Because if you don't explain it and say, this is the reason why, right? I don't want you to be jumping on the sofa because you will fall and get hurt, and then this is the consequence.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole family is disrupted. We have to go to the hospital and it becomes a bigger problem,
right?
So it's good to tell them why, because nowadays kids are, they will talk to you. They're looking for conversation as well. It's not when I was growing up, depending on the culture you were raised in, you're like, this is what I said and you better be quiet or stuff. It's different now.
Oh no, I remember when I was growing up, my mom didn't even explain nothing. One look and that was it. One look and it's like, oh, my whole day is done. I'm not even moving out of this chair. I'm not playing. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just not moving because that look, I'm dead.
I know. Right? Every person from the Caribbean knows that look. You don't even have to get hit. It's just
no explanation. It's the look. And you know what? Sometimes I miss those days because those days we spoke to each other emotionally and mentally. Right? Nowadays, you got to be explaining everything. It's like that authority figure where parents used to have,
Yes, it's
is
gone.
diminishing because now sometimes you have to wonder who's the adult and who's the child.
Yes.
Right? Because again, the world is just moving so fast, so fast. But and you know, harsh punishment is really, really not necessary. And I like the way you keep reflecting back on the culture.
Yes, because it's
Right?
everything. It's how you were
Culture.
raised, and then you learn things as you grow up, saying, you know, that was effective or that wasn't. So, you know, that's not something I
Right.
would want to do.
And I mean, you have other cultures that, you know, they do have harsh punishment that they deal with their loved ones, and it's just nice to always be learning new ways and new things. Like
Yes.
if we use timeout as a consistent punishment, if we use it appropriately and we explain why we're doing it, it could be one of the most effective thing
Right.
that one of the most effective tools that we could ever have to be able to implement into our children's life. And I had a co-host, one of the guests that came on, and she kept saying, talk to the child. You need to talk to your children. Keep that communication going. And she was explaining, it was so funny. I remember going home and I'm still remembering it because she took her kids in. One of them was their birthday, and she went into the store and she explained before she went into the store one gift. The child was happy, and she went in the store and she picked out that one gift, and on the way down the aisle she saw another one.
Oh, geez.
And she goes, "Oh mommy, I love this." And she said she gave her that look. And she said, "Okay, I think maybe for another time." Yeah, right, Mom? And she said until now she has not said a word. She just looked at her and she knew.
Yes,
she
the
knew
look.
because she explained it in advance.
Yes.
Right? And she keeps repeating, this is how much we have. This is what we're going to spend. And it's so amazing that I think the little girl was maybe 5 or so, but they understand.
Yes, and they learn, because when you reinforcing things is very, very important. Because I remember growing up too, my dad would always say, this is the expectation if you are a part of this family, right? So you know right up front, this is what is expected of you. You go to school, you do well, you have manners, you are polite and respectful, all those things, you know. And our home was always faith-based. So, you know, acknowledgement, when you go to the table, you're having supper, you say your grace, you say thanks. You know, if someone needs something, if you're able to help, you reach out. Those are expectations. So you sort of grow up with that, and it becomes a part of your life and you don't even realize it.
That is a very interesting word that you have chosen to use, that expectation. I think a lot of us has deleted that out of our vocabulary, and we're talking to instead of speaking with.
Right. I love that.
Right?
Yes.
So talking to someone and helping them along the way to know what is expected of them
Yes.
makes a difference.
Exactly.
Then telling them what they have to do, and that's where the struggle kicks in.
That's
I
right.
think that's where the struggles sometimes kick in, where I'm not doing what you think I have to do,
Yes.
and why do I have to do it? And my little 2-year-old, oh my gosh, her biggest vocabulary is no.
At that age, yes.
At this age, at my age, it's like, what? You need, and I'm having this conversation with her just last night. I think we need to remove that, word out of your vocabulary. We need to change that word. What do you think about that? And she goes, yes. And I said, we need to change that to a yes. How about let's try it? Let's say yes. Well, this morning, can you get up and do this? No. So it didn't really take effect right away, but this is my work for the week.
Right.
We need to help her along the way to understand that no is not really a happy word, but yes is for mommy. If you want mommy to be happy.
Right.
Right?
And they start to learn boundaries from early, because saying no is, that's a boundary, and that's important for you later on. But at her age, 2 years old, she doesn't know, all that. So it's good. And I remember even my parents, they would say, yes, you have to do chores. So one of the chores, all of us sisters, there's 4 of us, every week, one person is assigned to clean all the shoes at the door, because nobody is going outside with dirty shoes in the morning.
Those were the good old days.
I know. Every week, that's your chore. You have to clean your shoes, and not just yours, like everybody's that's at the door. So you learn
So it's
to be a
teamwork.
part of the family. It's teamwork. This is what it is. So they're not saying you have to do this, but they're saying this is a part of, this is a chore. This is what we do in this family. And you learn.
And it goes well.
No, I always clean my shoes, even when it's snowing and I just come in and it's all messed up. I still like
learned
clean
habit,
shoes.
learned habit.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the most important things we have to remember, and as an adult, we need to always remember to do this for ourselves. And we talk a lot about parenting tips and children and stuff like that. But while we talk about that, we need to maintain and keep in mind how we are very much as important as the children.
Yes.
And what we talk about for the children, we have to, learn that for ourselves. And having rewards is very good.
Yes.
So if you're using this, timeout or no TV or anything, and the day goes by and the child is so good, you need to reinforce and remind them and establish that in them.
Yes.
How wonderful they were, and what a great job they did, and you applaud them. My daughter likes, what, I did something. She said, Mom, come, mommy, come. And she goes, do that. She gave me something to do, so I did it for her. And she put down everything in her hand, and she started, yay, mommy, good
that's
for
amazing.
you.
Yeah.
And it's like, I did a good job, eh?
Wow.
And she reminded me how
That's
well I
great.
did, and that felt good.
Of course,
So
yes.
imagine how they feel when
Yes.
you tell them, like, oh, I am so proud of you.
You make them feel, loved and appreciated. Because every child needs that for their self-esteem.
And I'm learning from this little one that when, as an adult, you're so above them. And recently, she's very strong-willed. I wonder where she gets that from. But anyways,
I wonder.
She's really a strong, I see the leadership in her. And she wants it now, not yesterday. She still doesn't understand patience and hold
She's
on.
still young, very young.
But she will call you, right? And she wants you to move right away. And I realized when you go down, my daughter taught me this, actually, her oldest sister. When she gets angry and she gets upset and you're saying, no, I gotta go. And she's saying, no, sissy, don't leave, sissy. And she got down on her level, eye to eye, on that level, and say, sissy has to go.
Right.
Sissy has to go to class, and sissy's gonna see you again.
Yes,
soon.
explain it. Yes.
And that was like instantly, okay.
She understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Kiss, hug, bye, sissy. And so sometimes we have to get down
To their level.
on their level, whether it's pulling a chair, sitting face to face, eye to eye with each other, and just communicating with
Right.
them.
Yes.
Right? That helps you to be able to relate to them in a more effective way where they can appreciate it.
Yes.
Because this tallness over them, or hovering over them, it's given that power of I'm inferior and
It's
you do what I have to
intimidating.
do.
Yeah.
Even though they're children, it's good. And it's good when you learn your own child.
Yes.
What works for them and what doesn't, right?
Because if your child is an introvert or extrovert, every parent knows their child. So they can say, oh, I know this one doesn't like crowd, or they're more introverted. So, this is how I'll deal with this child.
Yeah, so friendly, calm communication is the key. Like taking it down a level,
Right.
even sitting down with them on their level, it helps to get that point across in a
Right.
more friendlier way.
Yes.
But you could still be firm.
Oh, of course.
You have to be firm,
Yes.
and you have to say, this
and they
is
know
how
you
it
love
works.
them anyway,
Yes,
right?
and it
doesn't
develops
matter.
that friendship.
Yes.
Encouraging and reminding the child not to ignore what they have to learn, or just forgetting about it because it's frustrating, but to try again.
Yes.
I know you made that mistake today and you didn't pack your shoes up the way, or you drop your clothes on the floor, whatever it is that is not working for the family. Just remind them, okay, at the end, okay, so your timeout is over, and you know what? We make mistakes, so tomorrow is a better day. Let's try again, and just reinforce them that it's okay, because that's how they're gonna learn.
Yeah, and remind them you are an integral part of the family. You're part of this family. We love you, And everybody makes mistakes, but we have to learn from them. And I think that's how kids develop a sense of self too, right?
Yeah.
That unconditional love is so important.
Yeah.
Because they know, despite the fact I made a mistake, my parents still love me. My mom still loves me.
But here's the key thing. Unconditional love, you got to find that for yourself before you can love someone unconditionally. You got to be able to develop that for yourself. So this is where the work kicks in, and this is how, we continue to grow, and that's it. It's just that simple. It's okay. Remember the word, rest if you must, but don't quit. Right?
Never quit.
Never quit. So don't forget to check us out every Sunday from 5 to 6 p.m. and then a replay on Friday from 4 to 5. Find us on Apex Radio. Hit it by hitting the Use app, and it will take you all to the show. It will take you to all of the show. Find us on Facebook. You can even go on www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. You can you click on the S.W.I.M show. You can listen to all the radio shows. You can pick and choose which one you want. Or even on the Apex show, you can actually choose which show that you're happy to listen to, or what hits the heart, right? And we are talking about London's Got Talent. October the 20th, it is here. It is just around the corner. We have a banging show this year. We will be acknowledging a single mom with a scholarship. There will be dancing, musician, they'll be singing, a fantastic showcase of talent from London. It will be a fundraiser for the Smart Scholarship, where we will be honoring a mom. So it's also supporting single women in motherhood. It's a not-for-profit organization that offers hope, support, and guidance to help single moms. Doors open at 6 p.m. The show begins at 7. Tickets are $25, children $15. You can get it online. Check out eventbrite.ca. We will be at 251 Dundas Street, London, at the Wolf Performance Hall. This is all about the London's Got Talent, www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. For more information, you can contact us at London's Got Talent 2017 at gmail.com. We are excited. We want to see you all. Come on out and support us, support a single mom, and let's continue to encourage each other. Again, our show is on Sunday from 5 to 6 and a replay on Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. So what's on your mind, Pearlette?
So you know how we were going to talk about challenges, how we overcome challenges, because that's a part of life too, right? And so I just wanted to share a little story about myself. So I had a daughter and she passed away. So I am a mother who has lost a child.
Right.
And, that was very, very difficult. It is still difficult today because I remember her every day whenever there are graduations and all those things. So I can identify with those mothers who experience that.
Right.
But I want people to know that, you have to move forward. You never, ever forget that child or your experience. That lives with you every day. But never let bitterness take over.
Right.
Because it's easy to look at someone else and say, look how happy that family is. They have their child.
Right,
You know.
right.
So what has worked for me is I always pray and ask God to help me because I find I can't do it on my own. So
Yes.
I ask for divine guidance. And I focus on what I can change, what is in my power, what I can do. So there's a quote that says, start where you are, use what you have, use what you have, do what you can. So I try to be more positive, and if I see someone in need, like another mother or something, I try to help in any way I can. But I realize that I just remind myself of the joy it was to have a little baby, a little child, the
Right.
excitement. And I'm so grateful I got an opportunity to be her mother. Despite
Right.
the fact she's not here, I'm grateful that I had that chance,
Yeah.
right? So I focus on that.
Right. So, when you talk about what worked for you, right? I remember they always say it takes a village to raise a child. So it had to have been, it had to have taken a village to help you to get out of the mourning process and the pain and the hurt. What kind of support did you have around you at the time?
So I had people from my church who helped and who were always encouraging. And coming from the Caribbean, oh my goodness, people are always encouraging you, giving you a hug here, and say, never mind, and my parents too, my family, my siblings, friends, co-workers, you need support. You cannot isolate yourself.
Exactly.
You need support. Support is so important because some days you're not going to feel like doing anything. The grief is just going to be too much. But gradually, if you allow yourself to be open and say, you know what, I'm going to focus on the joy of being her mother. It might have been for a short period of time, but I had so much joy, like expecting the baby and all that
The
stuff.
journey.
Yes, exactly.
So after the journey of joy comes daily tests.
Yes.
And these daily tests is things that we have to overcome so we can continue to move on.
That's right.
So sometimes when a negative person can kick in and say something to you, if we internalize it, and this is something I'm actually going through right now, I'm learning how to overcome our daily tests.
Yes.
Because we look at things because it's so personalized. We take it personally that it's an attack against you, and we have all these negative words to fit the
situation.
The situation. Thank you. And if we could flip that and just look at it as these are daily tests.
Yes.
And if we can overcome this, we will succeed.
Exactly.
Right? And you have obviously succeeded by finding a way to grieve, enjoy the pain, because we got to enjoy it sometimes. It's not always bad. And enjoy the gift that we had, right?
Yes.
Because my mom says, I love to cry. She goes, it's like you sit there and you wait for a moment or something to come up so you could just shed a tear. I said, every time I cry, and there's some good, real good cries, right? And
Tears
no matter
of joy.
what we go through, sometimes it's tears of joy and sometimes it's cleansing.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
And no matter what bad comes and what bad goes, sometimes when you really let that out,
Yes, free. You just feel liberated.
you feel light. And you feel so holding negativity inside is one of the most challenging ways to continue to grow.
Yeah, and I think too, when you have lessons, when you have challenges, you have to get the lesson. Because if you focus so much on, oh, that was a terrible thing, what are the lessons? Like after my daughter passed away, and I had so many things for her. She was an only child, like tons of things. And I remember going to the children's home to donate like brand new stuff to these kids and look at them, and I'm like, wow, they don't have. So out of that came such compassion. So I started volunteering and going there.
That was a healing process for you.
Yes, and it helped me to see that, they are here and they need someone. And what could I do? Find an outlet for my grief. You know what I mean?
I totally hear you. Well, I've always said that a relationship is like a death. A breakup of a relationship is like losing someone in life. And when we lose that relationship, whether it's with a girlfriend, whether it's your boyfriend, whether it's your child, it is a death. And a lot of times we don't take the time to grieve.
True. Yes.
We just keep it moving like nothing happened. And then sometimes that moment comes and it hits you.
Yes.
And you don't know why you're crying, why you're in the middle of the road, park, and you can't drive. You're just staring at the air. Sometimes, and if people could always remember, when we lose something, there is a grieving process.
Yes, absolutely.
That we have to go through. Then there's the acknowledgement.
Yes.
Right? And then you're able to move. You have to deal with it, then you could move on.
And sometimes you feel angry too, you're like, my goodness,
why me?
Yeah, why did this happen? But you have to realize that loss is a part of life, and I focus as always on, yes, I was so grateful to be her mother, because what an opportunity that was for me. And when you have a child, you love them so much. You don't even oh my goodness, it's just so much love there. So yeah, and sometimes I find myself, even when I'm pushing forward and there are challenges, and her name was Tara. So I'd say, Tara, your mom needs some help, some strength today, And I'm like, whatever I do, I hope, your mom made you proud today, despite the fact she's not here, whatever, but I still have that,
Right. And you know what? It's a gift, because nobody else, a lot of other people don't have that. And, shout out goes out to those people in Vegas.
Yes.
And shout out to the people that have gone through the storms and the hurricane and the lives that's been lost. And we need to just stop for a second and, I don't know, bite your kids. Just chew on their face and, just find something. Bite their necks and just bite them with love. Not hard though, not to send them to, just bite them, because they're so delicious. They are so, that love, that food when you eat that piece of chicken and your tongue just melt with the chicken. Savor that flavor. That's how I feel about my children. And, sometimes people will look at me and go, oh, so you have how many girls and how many sons? And they'll see me with my son and say, oh, he's your favorite. I said, please don't let the girls hear you say that, because they keep saying, yeah, you love your son more than you love me. And then he'll say, you love your daughters more. And it's like, I love everybody.
All of them.
I love everybody and everyone, because everyone has a different flavor.
Yes. And they are all special,
all
what
unique.
A gift to have children.
It is. Yeah. And hearts, goes out to those who can't. Yeah. And this is why we're here for you as mothers, especially the single moms, because we are given such a blessing of a bundle of gifts to have children.
Yes.
It's like, we got to find that positive. How do we pour that unconditional, never-ending love, infinite love into their soul, that it beams, through their pores?
They go through the world so much easier when they know they have someone they can rely on. I remember that growing up, I always felt if anything happened to me, my parents would still come, no matter what. They would still come. They're going to ask me, though, what did you do wrong first? Because you know how sometimes you say, oh, my kid would never do that.
Yeah,
My parents
no.
are like, if you did something wrong, make sure you tell us first. Because we're not going to say, oh, my kid will not do that. But we need to hear from you.
Yeah.
And you need to tell us the truth.
So they could support you in the right and proper way.
But they want you to say the truth.
And I think I'm one of those parents, because I remember my daughter doing something and my mom goes, oh, it's probably the other. And I said, Mom, you know who you're talking about. Okay. I first said, okay, so what part did you hold into this? What was your share? Because, and that's the thing, when women come to the agency and they start talking and they're angry and they're full of this vibration, and I listen and I smile and I listen and I said, okay, so what was your responsibility? And they'll look at me like, huh? I said, you know what? I remember when I left my ex, my children's father, the first thing I said, okay, how did I contribute to this? We all contribute.
Absolutely.
We have to learn to take accountability. Until we learn that, there will be no change.
That's right.
Right? And one of the things that, excuse me, in life that I know is really, really important is to be able to analyze yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Take stock.
Take stock. And
That's right.
I'm learning all over again. These are things we know, but we start moving through time so fast.
Yes.
We forget little knickknacks that would help our lives to just flow
We
in
need
the
little
direction.
reminders.
We have to find that willpower to control our surrounding,
Yes.
our moments, right?
That's right.
So tell me about any of the other, tools that really helped you along the way, and are they, so mothers know that they're not alone.
Yeah, and they can set goals too, right? Having goals is very important, because you're not alone, but you need to grow as a person, to develop as a person. So I find that reading helps open my mind. And
reading,
Yes, because people share their stories, and you get to read and even watch shows or things that are inspirational, to see, oh, she went through that and she's thriving, and how did she manage? And I realize that too, you have to set boundaries.
Okay.
Yes, boundaries are so important, because you can't say yes to everything.
Right.
Otherwise, you won't have time to do the stuff you really want. And the main thing, you're not alone. Seek support. There's so many groups out there now, and like with Facebook and social media, you can always feel connected with people. Find like-minded people, mentors, other mothers who you admire, and see, they're managing, because it's not perfect. Life is not perfect, but we can all learn from each other. And we have different personalities, right?
Right.
So what might work for one person might not necessarily work for the other, but you can always pull something. Because we're always learning from each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so deep. Finding positive things. I like that. And hobbies, one of the things that I like to do is encouraging people, is to encourage, excuse me, is to encourage people to say, what did you love to do as a child? What did you really, really like to do?
Yes.
And it helps you to start reflecting that, I had a life. I had things that I liked. I had things that I got involved with. And it's time for us to go back to our youth days.
Yes.
Excuse me, my throat. Go back to our youth days and start to live again. Right? I remember it was a couple of years ago, I was kind of putting on the weight there a little bit, and I started again. So it's a new challenge again, but I joined a dance class.
Oh.
I went out, and guess what kind of dance class it was? It was hip hop.
Oh my goodness.
And I thought for years I was the best dancer ever. I got the move, I've got the groove, and nobody can dance better than me, till I joined that class.
Oh.
And realized I had no rhythm.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
You
gosh,
had
it
forgotten
was
your rhythm?
devastating. Like, I'm a a Jamaican.
I know.
I should be able to dance. And I tell you, it was really, really shocking. I had to learn rhythm and movements. And because dancing isn't all about, the swaying and the jiving. It's all about learning rhythm and coordination and all that. So that's what life is all about.
Yes.
We dance. We got to learn to dance through it.
Dance in the rain. Yes.
Yeah, dance through it and coordinate ourselves, and just know that we are we are growing every day.
Every day.
Constantly growing.
And look for things to learn too, right? Because there's always lessons all around us, right?
Constantly. So that brings us to, so here you are, you got married, you had a baby, the baby died, you went through your grieving, all these challenges that this world keeps throwing at you. And then you constantly grow, and you put yourself out there, and here you are. And I call this a positive success, because now you can actually look at yourself. Do you ever look in the mirror and say, I am an author? Come on, tell me the truth.
What?
Tell me the truth.
The first time when I got the book, when I got it by Pearlette by Korea, I'm like, really? Is that my name? Like,
really?
How did that happen? But then I remember I had to go to the library. I had to schedule it in to write, because you're working 9 to 5. And I remember all the hard work. But just seeing my name there, and I go to the bookstore or online at Amazon, and I put my name in, and the book comes up. And I'm like, wow,
you did it.
Really? I did it?
You did it.
I said I wanted to, and I actually did it.
Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
So for the women out there, and the entrepreneurs out there, and the women who always wanted to do it,
You can do it.
doesn't matter what. Just do it.
Yes, schedule it in.
If it's to dream of becoming a CEO or a dentist or
author.
a dancer like me or an author, get up and do it.
Yes.
Say when now. And if you start and it becomes overwhelming, rest if you must, but don't quit.
Do not quit.
That's
Do
it.
not quit.
Just rest if you must, but don't quit. And when that saying hit me was when I was starting my exercise.
Oh, really?
And I started my exercise, and I was on the go, and before I know it, 3 weeks passed, and I never missed a day. And one day I didn't do my exercise and started again, and next time it was 2 days, and before I know it was a whole week.
Oh.
So I quit.
No.
I quit. Believe
You
me.
can start again. It's
Believe
never too
me,
late to start again.
I would quit. And I remember when I was younger, and I would be taking this course, and I'm going, and I'm late couple mornings, and I quit. Believe me, I quit.
But guess what? That's the past. You're going to just start now.
So
Start again.
when I heard that phrase, that was for me. Rest if you must, but don't quit.
That's right.
So if you're in school and you need to take a break, talk to the teacher. Don't walk away.
That's right.
Because in everything we do, there's options.
Yes.
There's always options.
Always an
So
option.
this is why this is my number one saying. Rest if you must, but don't quit. I don't know who the author was or who that quote came from, but I love it and I live by it, and I want to share it with everyone.
Yes.
We need to remember, rest if you must, but don't quit.
Right. Just set small goals. And that's what has helped me. I have a planner, and I schedule things in there. And because what I know is when things become a habit, it's easier. Yeah, it's easier to do when it becomes a habit.
I am telling you, life can become so beautiful.
Yeah.
And we've lived most of our life, if you're young like me, and the older we get, the more things that we go through.
Yes.
And it becomes a learned habit. It all becomes a learned habit, and these learned habit can be changed. And this is why we become the biggest critics of ourselves. We become the biggest boo-hoo, poor me syndrome. And we go through different phases in our life.
Right.
But there's always going to be someone there at that moment to help you cross through.
That's right.
If you allow them to.
Because sometimes
You got to
help
recognize.
comes, but you don't recognize it's help.
You know what? I think always, no matter what we go through, there's always that one individual at that moment that you could remember.
Yes.
To say, you know what? This person was around at that time.
Yes. You know what? I remember clearly that morning, Saturday morning, when my daughter passed away. And I went back to the house and I was crying outside and I didn't want to go inside. And my neighbor came across the street and hugged me. And to this day, that was the best hug I ever received. I'm like, it was at that moment when I needed comfort, support. So you're right.
The universe
you
always provide you the assistance
Yes.
we need. Just sometimes we don't recognize it because we're so caught up in our bitterness. We block our blessings.
Oh, that is so deep.
Right?
The bitterness takes you nowhere than down.
Yes.
Yes, you are so right. That bitterness is terrible.
And when we are being beaten down, and the strength, I know I'm talking from experience. I'm actually going through my tests right now. And a young lady that has just recently came into my life sat me down and told me, you are being tested. And if you don't pass this test, you're going to go through it again. This is the time you have to pass the test. And sometimes it's not negative. It's not somebody hitting you or, it's not a big accident. Sometimes it's a negative people that don't wish you well.
Yes.
That comes into your life and sends subliminal messages. Or they direct it at you. Or they come and they create havoc in your life.
Yes.
But how do you rise above it is the key. It's not what's happening, it's how we rise above it.
Yes.
So that losing that child was a test. And you've obviously passed those tests to get here.
Yeah, it
And
wasn't
scheduling
easy.
yourself every night to go to the library was
3
another
days
test.
a week. Yes.
Was another test. And this is the outcome. The book has arrived.
Right. And I wanted to help people. I want them to use it as a tool so they can feel more prepared when they go to the doctor. Because sometimes you go there and you don't even remember, all your questions. And they can write their allergies, if they have allergies, dates of their surgeries, or if they had procedures. And I also have part proceeds go to the Heart and Stroke Foundation as well.
So, part of the proceeds?
Yes,
Wonderful.
from the sale.
So the ABCs of your medical checkup, and I just want to read a quick little piece here. Ensure that the ABCs are within the normal range for you is critical to experience good health. It is very important to ask key questions to get not only the right answer but helpful answers that you can take actions on. Getting the exact reading of your test results allow you to do the following. 1, know what the numbers are and understand what the numbers mean. What do they say about your health? 2, find out the impact those numbers have on your health. And the next one is, what is the next step? And if the results are less than desire, it puts you in a position to make changes as necessary. So this is just a little page out of her book. And then is like, so what are the ABCs? Questions. We shy away from asking questions, and that's why sometimes we run into the problem because we don't ask the question. And you go on to say, I was feeling really lethargic a while ago, which was not normal for me. I was talking to my family members who said, remember, diabetes in your family history, you should check your A1C at your next annual medical checkup. Make sure you find out what the number is because that will be a good indicator of diabetes. Wow. I responded, my A? What, C? I've never heard.
I've never heard of it before. Yeah. So that was it was my way of, when I went to the doctor, I'm like, what is that and how does that affect my health? So it started the journey and asking those questions.
And I have never even heard of ANC.
A1C.
So, you know what? Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I continually encourage everyone. What is your dream? What is your inspiration? What have you always wanted yourself to do? I've always wanted to do ballroom dancing.
Oh.
I've always, and I did it. I had a little package and I did couple lessons. And trust me, it is not easy.
No, like
okay, it looks easy, but it's not easy. It's one of the hardest thing, swinging around on the floor. Oh my goodness, but it's fun.
Yes, and it's
fun
doable.
to discover yourself and what you're good at and what you're not good at, right?
Absolutely. And it's so much joy and pride when you get it done. Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to do another shout out to Afrofest. These are the live radio shows on Apex Radio and Conscious Thoughts. Antidote. Are you listening to the names? Jukes and Juke. AM. Am I saying that right? Jux and Jukes. Ooh, my bad. Jux and Juke, AM, King C. We talk about, all these shows that come on and appear on a regular schedule. We are Mind Over Matter. Check them out. They are teaching you about yourself. We're talking about No Chill. We want you all to tune in. There's so many different shows going on where you could learn so many different things, Get some music in your soul. Get some inspiration. And you know what? Start off your day with some music. I like my day to start off with some reggae. And I'm telling you, puts you in the mood.
Three little
so
birds.
I'm telling you, we are here just to constantly encourage you and inspire you. We want to hear from you. Send me some questions. Send me anything you want. Check us out on YouTube. Check out the S.W.I.M website at www.singlewomeninmotherhood.com. You could send your questions directly to me at swim.canada@gmail.com. Check out Apex Radio. Go online, www.speakers.com/user/Apex Radio, and that's with 2X. And we're talking about S.W.I.M. We provide support groups for single women. We are here for you to empower you. We have the Let's Talk About It program. Come on out and share some thoughts. Help each other by, transferring of information. It's always good. We have the Child Care Exchange once a month. We also have the Little Fish program. We have the Community Agent program. We have the Golden Connection Pal program. We are programmed out for you. We want you to know that you're not alone. We are here for you. And we just encourage you to take that step, get up, go online, Google, my mother would say, just Google it. Anything you want to know, Google it. And I'm looking at her like, what do you know about Google? But, she's up to the time. But yes, be grateful for something today. Find something good in your path and know that you're not alone, and tomorrow's a better day. An hour from now is a better hour. So take it, whatever you're going through, acknowledge it, recognize it, deal with it, and let's move on together. Reach out with a friend, talk to a family member, don't do it alone. It's boring. It's really boring when you do it alone. Even when you cry, it's boring when you cry alone. Cry to a friend, cry to somebody, get some inspiration, get some good uplifting words, right?
Some support.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, there's a great quote, and it says, it takes each of us to take care of all of us.
Oh, I love that. That is a fact. it does take each of us to take care of each other.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't do it alone. I said,
right.
don't do it alone. I'm going to tell my son to make a song. Shout out to S.W.I.M. Perrion. He'll be the host of, London's Got Talent 2017. He will be performing. Come on out and check us out. I am talking again. London's Got Talent, October the 20th. Doors open 6 p.m. The show starts. Come and check out some of the wonderful vendors there. We got a great show lined up. Dancers, musicians, singers, and some circus stuff too, Oh, yeah. It's going to be a nice show. It's a show for a family. Come on out with your kids. Enjoy. Let them see what's going on out there. Encourage them. Sometimes when they go out,
Yeah.
It makes them want to do things that they never thought. This is a support fundraiser for the SMART Scholarship as well as for the S.W.I.M Single Women in Motherhood Training Program, not-for-profit organization here in the London community at 296 Horton Street in London, right at the corner of Wellington and London. I just want to thank you for taking out your time out of your busy day, because I know you took this off as vacation hours. So this is how important you mothers are to these people that keep coming out and sharing their journeys with you, that she took some time out to come and share her book. Remember, so what does that mean, doctor? I just love the name. So what does that mean, doctor? Let's step up in the doctor's face, because they like to rush you through the waiting room and rush you through and boom, 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 and you're gone. You're afraid to even ask them questions sometimes, right? Check out Chapters. Go online on our Amazon and check out Pearlette Cassells and typing. So what does that mean, doctor? Get a copy of her book, read it, take some time, because I read it for 2 seconds and I'm already learning. I'm going to be bringing her back on as a special guest, because this woman is totally amazing. She came up with an organizer, and I can't wait to share that with you. I think that's one of the most important thing that I've ever seen, and I thought I was organized. And I have my binder, and I haven't even started using it yet, but I know I have to get to that as well. So we are thanking you for coming and sharing. We're thanking you for this moment, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me on. It was such a great time. I
Yes,
really appreciate it. And thanks for all you do at S.W.I.M. It's
Thank
such
you.
an important organization to help mothers.
Yes, and I continue to do that. We've been around for 16 years, and constantly a lot of people keep saying, I've never heard about you. Well, we're going to start stepping up in everybody's face to let them know we're here, and we ain't going anywhere. We're just constantly growing. Our goal is to get right into Toronto, right across the GTA, because you know what? Our mothers are one of the most beautiful gems that brings through beautiful husbands and fathers and children that we are living with today. These are the leaders of Toronto. So let's strengthen each other together. Let's make this happen, and know that, again, you are not alone. Wishing you a blessed weekend and a week to come. Enjoy yourself. Step out, step up, and make it happen. See you again soon on the S.W.I.M radio show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's great.
Peace out.
You're listening to Apex Radio.
Live from London, Ontario to the world, you're listening to Apex Radio.